Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Jason Kistler with Sapphire Leadership Advisors, and in this video we're going to talk about the 6 complete attitude shifts that I had to make in order to become a successful leader. Let's get into that right now. Before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you find any value out of this information. We've got lots of information on productivity, leadership, team building, management, and the occasional technology post, and we have new material every single week. So let's go ahead and get right into that list. So the first major attitude shift that I had to make was the yes and versus no but. And what I mean by that is somebody presents an idea. A lot of times in the corporate world, the first inclination is to say no, but, and you present an alternate idea. And that serves to further your agendas, but it doesn't really open up the channels of communication. So you're not presenting a safe environment for employees to present information. So instead of the no but response, consider a yes and response. So what you're doing there is you're actually taking the idea and then building on it so that they feel like they're contributing to what's going on. And you don't even have to like the idea. You can certainly be skeptical about it, but it's the attitude shift that you're making that says, I want to listen to every perspective and I want to make sure that every piece of information is considered before making any decisions. And that's going to show your employees that they're safe to share information and they'll feel like they're contributing to the team. The second major attitude shift that I had to make was understanding and appreciating a vision. The one thing that differentiates an individual contributor or a low-level or middle manager from an executive or a high-level leader is the understanding of vision, how to build a vision and how to lead to a vision. A leader needs to be able to look into the future to see the future of a product or the future of the company. A leader then has to be able to return to the present with a high-level picture of the blueprint that they need to build in order to get to that future vision. Leaders are also very good at inspiring individuals towards that vision, even when it looks difficult or may seem like it's not worth it. The third attitude shift is moving into a mentality of caring beyond yourself and your own aspirations. Now, yes, it's important for you to keep your own agendas in mind as you're moving your career forward, but to really be a successful leader, you've got to care about what you're doing. You've got to care about the people that you're leading. You've got to care about the company that you're working for, the customers that you serve. These are all things that you need to focus on beyond your own aspirations of progress in your career, because people sense when things you do are selfless or self-serving, and employees that pick up the attitude of not caring about their job, not having any loyalty to their employer, where do you think they get that from? And real quick, before we move on with the list, go ahead and smash that like button if you're getting any value out of this content. And I'd encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Again, we got lots of information on management, leadership, and team building, some productivity hacks. Now back to the list. The fourth attitude change that I really had to make was to adopt an I can attitude towards things. Leaders have a very positive outlook on being able to get things done. And that means that if they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Whether it becomes difficult or they just don't feel like it, leaders will still get things done, and with a positive attitude. The fifth attitude adjustment that I had to make was actually in balancing an ego with results and relationships. Now, it's important for a leader to have an ego. Don't let anyone tell you that an ego is all bad. If it's kept in check, an ego is what allows a leader to be able to present themselves with confidence, to be able to move through when they're being doubted on all sides, and when they know that what they're doing is right. So there's nothing wrong with having a healthy ego, but you have to be able to keep this ego in check so that you're giving credit to others where credit is due, you're being a servant leader, and you're not focused on simply the status and prestige of success and the fancy cars and whatnot. Leaders also take accountability. They don't blame others for outcomes, even if it may seem like the outcome was really out of your control. If a meeting doesn't go the way that a leader wants it to go, then what they do is examine their role in that encounter and how they could have handled things differently. What could they have done different to get a different outcome? If there's a particular professional relationship that's not turning out the way that you want, then as a leader, what you need to do is examine your role in that relationship and see where you could have made changes. You can't control someone else, but you can control the things that you do. A leader needs to be results driven, absolutely, but not at the expense of relationships. You end up burning bridges just to get things done in the short term, but that affects your ability to get things done in the long term, because now you don't have those relationships to lean on anymore to get things done. And essentially, the main focus of a leader is being able to get things done through other people. So you have to be results driven, but not at the expense of destroying the relationships that are required to get those results. Now, you also have to be relationship driven as a leader, but not at the expense of getting results. Because what that looks like is a people pleaser, someone who may be more concerned with people liking them rather than getting things done. And focusing too much on relationships at the expense of results may end up causing you to not be able to make the tough decisions that are involved in leadership. So it's this balancing act of results versus relationships versus ego. And that's a huge attitude shift that you have to go through to make all of those things work together to be successful. Now, the last attitude shift that I want to talk about is the idea of having a success laboratory. And what this means is that a leader needs to continue to learn. That's a huge aspect of leadership, is always learning. And that doesn't just mean reading the latest self-help book or anything like that. That also means learning from information that you get along the way in terms of projects, how they're progressing, new data that comes in that you may need to make minor adjustments. You need to be flexible enough to be able to take that data and triangulate your direction. So now you may need to pivot a little bit in order to get things done. And usually the success is based around small changes to mitigate risk. Obviously, leaders are more risk tolerant, but in a leadership role, sometimes it's dangerous to be a very high risk type person. So you don't create an entire marketing strategy and throw all of your money at it, and you're not even sure if that's the right message that you want to do. So you have test groups that you would present a particular message, see how that goes. If that's successful, then you move it on to a larger sampling. Same concept. In leadership, it's the same thing. You want to make minor changes, you evaluate the success of those changes, and then you continue to go with things that work and you stop doing things that don't work. And leaders don't look at failure as failure, they look at it as new data. When you have a poor showing on something, it simply is more data for you to be able to construct your next decision to move something forward. Okay, so those are the 6 major attitude shifts that I had to make in order to be a successful leader. I hope this information has been valuable for you. If you did get value out of this video, then I would encourage you again to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel where we have a lot more information on leadership, and hope to see you again.